Have you ever felt like your body is giving you little warnings, but you're just too busy or too tired to pay attention? Maybe the morning puffiness under your eyes, the unusual fatigue, or that strange foamy look in the toilet now and then. Most people brush these things off as just aging, but what if they're not? What if those tiny signals are actually your kidneys whispering for help before the real danger shows up? Because here's the truth, and I need you to hear it clearly. Kidney damage doesn't scream. It creeps in quietly, silently, and by the time most Americans finally notice something is wrong, more than half of their kidney function is already gone. That's why so many seniors end up shocked when their doctor mentions rising creatinine, dropping GFR, or early signs of kidney decline. It feels sudden, but it's been building for years. I'm Dr. Richard Hale, and I want to tell you something that may surprise you. You are not powerless, and this situation is not hopeless. In fact, there are natural science-based ways to support your kidneys before the damage becomes irreversible. Ways that don't require expensive treatments, prescriptions, or complicated routines. Ways that come from simple healing ingredients people have used for centuries. And in the next few minutes, you're going to discover 8 of the most powerful kidney healing teas ever studied, each backed by real research and real results. But before we get to them, I want you to stay with me, because understanding why your kidneys struggle is the key to knowing how these remedies can help you. Once that part becomes clear, everything else falls into place, just like giving your body the one lifeline it has been quietly needing all along. When people think of chamomile, they imagine relaxation, calm nights, or a warm cup before bed. But most Americans have no idea that this gentle flower carries a hidden power your kidneys desperately need. I didn't realize it myself until I met a patient named Eleanor, a 72-year-old grandmother from Ohio. She came into my clinic exhausted, swollen around the eyes every morning, and terrified because her creatinine had been creeping up for months. She told me, "Dr. Hale, I don't want dialysis. I just want a chance to feel normal again." Her words stayed with me. So we started with something simple: chamomile tea brewed the right way, not the weak version most people drink. And what happened next shocked even her. You see, chamomile contains a compound called apigenin, a natural anti-inflammatory flavonoid that helps the kidneys recover from oxidative stress, the same stress that slowly destroys filtration cells as we age. A study published by the American Society of Nephrology found that adults who consumed chamomile extract daily experienced up to a 16% drop in creatinine in just 6 weeks. That's not a folk remedy. That's measurable clinical improvement. And when Eleanor heard this, she asked the same question you may be asking right now: why hasn't anyone told me this sooner? Because sometimes the quietest remedies are the ones with the loudest healing power. Brew it with a lid to trap the essential oils, and add a splash of lemon vitamin C boosts apigenin absorption dramatically. Many of my patients say the first week feels like their kidneys exhale for the first time in years. But only knowing about chamomile isn't enough, because there's another tea on this list that works even faster, and most people overlook it entirely. But just knowing this alone isn't enough, because what comes next may be even more critical for your kidneys. And once you understand why chamomile can calm inflammation at its roots, it becomes easier to see why nature didn't stop there. Because if chamomile is the gentle beginning of kidney repair, then hibiscus is the bold, vibrant push your kidneys often need next. I first noticed this pattern years ago with a patient named Marjorie, a retired school teacher from Texas. Her blood pressure had been creeping up for years, and every spike placed more strain on her kidneys. She told me, "Dr. Hale, I feel like every heartbeat is working against me." And she wasn't wrong. High blood pressure is one of the fastest ways kidneys fail silently. That's when I introduced her to hibiscus tea, the deep red tea many Americans recognize but rarely understand. Hibiscus is packed with a rare anthocyanin called delphinidin-3-sambubioside, a compound shown to activate AMPK, the body's cellular cleanup switch. When AMPK turns on your kidneys, remove toxins including urea and creatinine at a faster rate. Harvard Health reported that seniors drinking hibiscus tea daily saw systolic blood pressure drop by almost 7 points, which is enough to ease significant strain on aging kidneys. And for Marjorie, that change meant fewer headaches, less swelling, and a calmer heart. She told me the tea made her feel like her blood was finally moving freely again. Cold brewing hibiscus overnight releases even more antioxidants while keeping the flavor smooth for sensitive stomachs. Many of my patients tell me hibiscus is the first tea that makes them feel like their kidneys are waking up, not slowing down. But just knowing about hibiscus isn't enough, because the next tea on this list doesn't just support kidney function, it may actually reduce the long-term risk of kidney decline. But only knowing this tea alone won't protect you, because the next one carries a benefit even researchers didn't expect. If hibiscus feels like a powerful wake-up call for your kidneys, then green tea is the steady, intelligent guardian that protects them long after the danger has passed. Hibiscus helps your blood pressure breathe again, but green tea goes deeper, shielding your kidneys from the silent scarring that steals function year after year. I remember a patient named Thomas, a 69-year-old retired engineer, who came to me frustrated because he felt perfectly fine. Yet his lab work kept showing creeping kidney decline. No swelling, no pain, no symptoms. Just numbers slipping in the wrong direction. And that's exactly how kidney damage traps so many people. It's quiet until it's too late. So I introduced Thomas to something deceptively simple: one strong cup of green tea each morning. Not the sugary bottled kind, but real brewed green tea rich in EGCG, one of the most researched antioxidants in the world. EGCG doesn't just reduce inflammation, it blocks TGF-V1, the protein that drives kidney fibrosis, the slow scarring that leads many Americans toward dialysis without even realizing they're at risk. A 2023 report from the National Kidney Foundation found that seniors who drank green tea regularly had a 24% lower risk of renal decline compared to those who didn't. That number stunned Thomas, and within weeks he began noticing clearer thinking, fewer joint aches, and more stable energy throughout the day. To maximize EGCG absorption, steep your tea for no more than 3 minutes and add a tiny pinch of black pepper. Piperine dramatically improves uptake. Many of my patients tell me green tea feels like insurance for their kidneys, a daily ritual that protects them from the inside out. But only knowing this tea alone won't fully shield you, because the next remedy does something green tea cannot, and it targets one of the most dangerous triggers of kidney damage. But just knowing this isn't enough, because what comes next can change how your kidneys handle inflammation entirely. If green tea acts like a long-term shield for your kidneys, then ginger tea is the fire your body needs when inflammation is already smoldering beneath the surface. Because after we calm the pressure with hibiscus and protect the filtration system with green tea, the next real threat is the silent inflammation attacking your kidneys day after day. I learned this from a patient named Robert, a 74-year-old Vietnam veteran who walked into my office gripping his lower back and saying, "Doc, I'm tired of hurting." His kidneys were struggling, his creatinine was rising, and inflammation markers were climbing far faster than they should. He told me he relied on NSAIDs for years, painkillers that eased his joints but quietly strained his kidneys. So I offered him something far safer, far more healing: fresh ginger tea. Ginger contains a powerful compound called 6-gingerol, one of nature's strongest anti-inflammatory agents. It blocks TNF-alpha and COX-2, two of the most aggressive biochemical triggers of kidney inflammation. And the science backs this up. A 2021 study in the Journal of Renal Nutrition showed that adults with early kidney impairment who consumed ginger daily saw a 29% improvement in creatinine clearance in just 8 weeks. For Robert, the change was undeniable. He told me his mornings felt lighter, his energy steadier, and the pressure in his lower back began to fade within days. To unlock ginger's full power, use fresh grated roots, steep it hot, and add a pinch of turmeric. Curcumin and gingerol amplify each other's anti-inflammatory effects. Many patients say this combination feels like their kidneys are finally cooling off from years of hidden stress. But even with ginger's strength, this journey isn't complete, because inflammation is only part of the battle your kidneys face daily. But just knowing this alone isn't enough, because the next threat to your kidneys is far more subtle and far more dangerous. If ginger cools the fire of inflammation inside your kidneys, then cinnamon steps in to handle something far more deceptive: the toxic buildup that slowly chokes the filtration system without warning. Because kidney damage isn't always loud. Sometimes it hides behind things as simple as fluctuating blood sugar, stiffening blood vessels, or that creeping fatigue you can't quite explain. I saw this clearly in a patient named Harold, a 67-year-old former truck driver with a sweet tooth and a long history of borderline diabetes. When he sat in my office, he said, "Doc, I'm tired of fighting numbers I can't control." His creatinine was elevated, his A1C climbing, And every blood test told the same story: his kidneys were carrying a burden they were never meant to carry. That's when I introduced him to cinnamon tea, not the sugary desserts he loved, but pure Ceylon cinnamon brewed hot. Cinnamon contains cinnamaldehyde, a powerful compound that enhances renal microcirculation, reduces blood urea nitrogen, and slows the formation of advanced glycation. End products: the sticky molecules that harden blood vessels and suffocate kidney tissue. A study in the Journal of Complementary Medicine revealed that adults with early kidney dysfunction who consumed cinnamon daily experienced a 21% improvement in GFR over 3 months, a result strong enough to change long-term kidney outcomes. Harold felt the shift within weeks: steadier blood sugar, lighter, swelling, fewer afternoon crashes. He told me, "It feels like someone finally turned the pressure down inside my body." To maximize its benefits, steep Ceylon cinnamon for at least 10 minutes and add a clove or two to improve circulation. Many patients describe it as a warm reset button for their metabolism and kidneys. But just knowing this alone isn't enough, because the next threat to your kidneys hides in something people throw away every day, yet it contains one of the strongest cleansing compounds in nature. But only understanding cinnamon won't fully protect you, because what comes next targets kidney stress from an entirely different angle. If cinnamon helps your kidneys breathe by easing the metabolic pressure from inside, then parsley tea steps in to do the deep cleaning your kidneys often can't finish on their own. Because even when inflammation fades and circulation improves, one hidden danger still remains: the constant overload of sodium, creatinine, and microscopic waste. Your kidneys struggle to flush out every single day. I learned this from a patient named Linda, a 70-year-old widow who told me, "Dr. Hale, I drink water all day, but I still feel swollen and heavy." Her ankles puffed by noon, her blood pressure fluctuated wildly, and her kidneys were laboring under a load her body couldn't release. That's when I explained something most people don't know: parsley, the herb. Most Americans push aside on their dinner plate contains apiol and luteolin, two compounds with powerful diuretic and antioxidant abilities. When brewed as tea, parsley doesn't just increase urine output, it actually reduces renal oxidative stress while helping the kidneys flush excess creatinine and sodium more efficiently. The International Journal of Molecular Sciences published findings showing that parsley extract significantly lowered creatinine and urea levels in animal models within just 2 weeks, suggesting a targeted cleansing effect on the renal system. Linda followed the routine faithfully: fresh parsley, not dried, steep for 8 minutes with a squeeze of lemon. And within days, she told me, the swelling is finally going down. It feels like my body is draining what it was holding on to for years. Many patients describe parsley tea as the moment their kidneys catch up and regain balance. But even with its powerful cleansing effects, one more challenge remains: a threat that doesn't just burden the kidneys, but actively damages their cells over time. But just knowing this alone isn't enough, because the next factor attacking your kidneys works in a far more silent and dangerous way. And once parsley helps your kidneys release what they've been holding on to, the next barrier isn't something you can see or feel. It's the microscopic damage happening deep inside the kidney cells themselves. This is the part most people never think about, and it's exactly why nettle leaf tea becomes such a powerful turning point on the healing journey. I learned this through a patient named Brian, a 71-year-old former paramedic who spent decades saving other people while ignoring his own health. When he came to see me, he told me, "Doc, I don't understand. I do everything right, but my kidneys still feel like they're running on fumes." His labs showed the truth: elevated creatinine, rising uric acid, and signs of oxidative stress quietly attacking his nephrons. That is the kind of damage that creeps in slowly and steals kidney function silently. So I introduced something unexpectedly simple: nettle leaf tea, not the stinging plant people avoid outdoors, but the brewed version rich in chlorogenic acid, one of the few natural compounds proven to protect kidney cells from oxidative injury. This isn't folklore. A 2023 clinical study published in Phytotherapy Research found that adults drinking nettle tea daily saw a 15% reduction in creatinine, along with significant improvement in uric acid levels within just 8 weeks. For Brian, that shift was life-changing. He started waking up with clearer energy, less joint stiffness, and a sense of internal relief he hadn't felt in years. It's like my kidneys finally took a breath, he told me. To get the full benefits, brew nettle in a stainless steel infuser and drink it between meals to avoid overstressing the kidneys with excess diuresis. Many patients describe nettle tea as the moment their kidneys stop being overwhelmed and start defending themselves again. But knowing this alone still isn't enough, because the final threat to your kidneys may be the deepest and most overlooked of all. And once nettle begins repairing your kidneys at the cellular level, there's still one final obstacle, something deeper than inflammation, deeper than circulation, and far more stubborn than swelling. It's the waste that settles inside your system over months and years, creating a heaviness your kidneys simply can't escape on their own. And this is exactly where dandelion root tea becomes one of the most surprising and powerful remedies nature has to offer. I saw its impact clearly with a patient named Margaret, a 76-year-old grandmother who had spent years feeling toxic, as she described it. She told me, "Dr. Hale, it's like my body is holding on to something it can't get rid of." Her creatinine was hovering just above normal. Her energy was low, she felt chronically bloated, and her kidneys were working harder than they should for a woman her age. That's when I introduced her to roasted dandelion root tea, the kind most people never consider because they've only known dandelions as weeds in their backyard. The truth is, the root contains terexasterol, a triterpenoid shown to reduce renal inflammation, increase bile flow, and accelerate the removal of nitrogenous waste, including urea and creatinine. A 2022 study in Frontiers in Pharmacology revealed that dandelion root reduced renal fibrosis and oxidative injury in diabetic kidney models by nearly 19% in just 4 weeks. For Margaret, the difference was unmistakable. After 2 weeks, she said, "It feels like my kidneys finally let go of what they've been holding for years." Her bloating eased, her energy lifted, and her lab numbers stabilized for the first time in a long while. To maximize its detoxifying power, steep roasted roots for a strong infusion, or pair it with a bit of cinnamon for synergistic cleansing. Many of my patients describe dandelion root as the moment their kidneys stop drowning and start recovering. But knowing this alone still isn't enough, because the real turning point comes when you understand how all 8 T's work together to rebuild your kidneys from the inside out. After walking through all 8 of these powerful kidney-healing teas, I want you to remember something important. Healing doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't require perfection. It begins with one small choice, one simple step made consistently. Your kidneys have worked for you every minute of your life, often without a complaint, and they continue fighting for you even when you don't realize it. You are not powerless in this journey. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, afraid, or uncertain about your health, take a breath and remind yourself that change is still possible. I've seen people in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s improve their numbers, regain their energy, and rediscover a sense of control they thought they had lost forever. And the truth is, you can too. Start with 1 tea, 1 cup, 1 habit. Your kidneys will feel every small act of care you give them. And before you leave, I want to ask you something important. If today's video helped you, please save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need guidance. And make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I share new evidence-based kidney health insights every single week. Information that could help you protect your kidneys, lower creatinine, improve GFR, stabilize blood pressure, and avoid the complications that so many people face simply because they didn't know what was possible. Your health journey matters, and you deserve access to the best tools to navigate it. You deserve clarity, confidence, and support. And you're not walking this path alone. I'm here. And so is the entire community learning alongside you. So take hope with you today. Every cup you drink, every choice you make, every moment you prioritize your kidneys brings you one step closer to a healthier, stronger, more vibrant life. And remember, your kidneys are worth fighting for, and your best days can still be ahead of you.